Hello everyone, this is Princess here, and for today's video we are going to talk about the next story character, which is coming to Opera Omnia. So we have the final chapter coming, and with it we have a new character coming, which is going to be Jack Garland from Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. He will be coming with pretty much everything. He's getting a force, a burst, and I will be covering his whole skill set and his weapons up to his LD in this video. And the next video we'll talk about his force and his burst, and then the Shinryu for the story chapter. So let's get started. Okay, so Jack Garland's crystal affinity is blue. He uses great swords. He can also bring an enemy's brave down to the negative value, something that no other character has done before, so it's pretty unique to him. He can also deal a follow-up attack when he breaks or attacks a broken target, and while he has his overhead effect active. So for his burst skill, he has Spinning Slash, which is a 2-hit AoE Brave split HP attack with a 70% hit potency. It grants the Cyclic Warrior effect for 3 turns, and for the extension, if we look down here, it adds 3 uses. It becomes a 4-hit AoE Brave split HP attack dealt 3 times. The Brave potency is higher, and it adds a 180% Stolen Brave overflow. So here's what Cyclic Warrior looks like. It raises his attack and his max Brave, and when he inflicts or attacks an enemy afflicted with the break status, he will trigger a follow-up called Soul Burst. Alright, so then we have his S2, which is called Highbringer. It's a 4-hit Brave HP attack with a 40% Brave potency. It deals splash damage, and it also grants Cyclic Warrior for 3 turns. So looking at the extension, this will add 3 uses. It's now a 5-hit Brave HP attack dealt 3 times. It has a larger Brave potency and a 150% Stolen Brave overflow, and Cyclic Warrior will change his Brave and HP attack into plus variants. So then when we look at the follow-up, so here is Soul Burst. So it's a 4-hit Brave HP attack with an 80% potency. It allows for a negative Brave limit of 100% of Jack's max Brave. It has a 120% Stolen Brave overflow. Damage to the target is based on the negative Brave value and raises Brave based on damage dealt. So then moving on to the calls. So first is Highbringer, which will raise the caller's attack and max Brave. Then for the LD call, which is on Tetskin, this raises the caller's Stolen Brave overflow, Brave damage, HP damage, and their Stolen Brave damage. Then moving on to the artifacts and for the spears. So for artifacts, you want to go for attack, max Brave, or his C50. And then for his spears, so the spears will raise his max Brave by 2% when you break or attack a broken target up to 2.5 times, and then his attack goes up by 1% up to 5 times. Alright, so moving on to the armor, we have his 35 CP armor, which is Jack's clothing. This adds 220 to his max Brave and 72 to his attack. Then we have the 90 CP armor, which is the caster's coat. This adds 680 to his HP and 110 to his initial Brave. And then when you realize it, it adds 220 to his max Brave and then 84 to his defense. Lastly, we have the high armor, which is the Cyclic Warrior. And what this does is it raises his Brave damage cap and max Brave cap by 15%. Moving on to the weapons, his 15 CP is the Great Sword, which raises Spinning Slash's Brave power, and it deals more damage to single targets, and it also improves Cyclic Warrior's effect. Then we have the 35 CP weapon, which is the Claymore. This raises Highbringer's Brave power and also improves Cyclic Warrior's effect. Then we have the EX weapon, which is the Hero's Great Sword. This will grant the Lightbringer skill, and this will also grant him the Lightbringer buff for 1 turn. So this does a 3-hit AoE Brave split HP attack with a 40% potency. It has a 150% Stolen Brave overflow, and it deals more Brave damage on single targets. And then when it is upgraded, so like when it has Crystal level 85 and then EX+, it is now, so Lightbringer is now granted for 2 turns. It's now a 4-hit AoE Brave split HP attack, but it's dealt 5 times. Brave potency is a 120%, and then Stolen Brave overflow is 180%. Then for the Lightbringer buff, so the thing to keep in mind is that this will not be casted when he has his buff Chaosbringer active, which is when he uses his finishing burst. So what Lightbringer does is it has a buff priority of 1, but lower value buffs do not cast. It has a negative Brave limit up by 100% of max Brave, and then raises max Brave and Brave damage. Lastly, we have the LD weapon, which is the Barbarian Sword, and this grants is on Tetskin. So with all of the upgrades, like with the LD boards and limit breaks, it grants the one guided by the Fool for 12 turns. This will inflict a break and then deals a 4-hit AoE Brave full HP attack that is dealt 3 times. Brave potency is 120%. It has a 150% Stolen Brave Overflow, and it increases the ability use of its S1 and S2 by 1, and it also deals more Brave damage on single targets. Then we have the follow-up, which will be changed to Soul Burst Plus. So the difference with this one is that it's an 8-hit Brave HP attack that is dealt twice. Brave potency is 120%, the negative Brave limit is 200%, and it has a 150% Stolen Brave Overflow. And then for the LD buff, it raises Stolen Max Brave Overflow, Brave damage, and HP damage. Okay, so with all of that being said, I cut off the video when I wasn't supposed to. What I meant to say was, up to now, I'm going to head over to JP and I'm going to showcase Jack Garland's skills. So I will be right back. Alright, so we're back on JP. So this is what the first part of Chapter 11 is going to look like. So as you can see, it's based off of the Chaos Shrine from Strangers of Paradise Final Fantasy Origins. So this is what the first floor looks like, and then here's what the second floor will be, which is like the inside of the Chaos Shrine where you fought against Garland. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to head to the Lufenia stage so that I can show off Jack Garland, and this was the team that I had used for the Shinryu. So here is my Jack Garland. I greened his burst, blued his armor, and honestly he's a lot of fun. I can guarantee that. So, and then for spears, I mainly gave him his own spear, and then Fang, and then Strago. Probably not necessary, but that's just what I gave him. I wanted to prioritize some like attack power as well, and like critical damage. So yeah, so I'm going to head over to JP, and I'm going to showcase his skills up to his LD. I will be right back. Okay, so when we begin, so here is my Jack Garland over here. So as you can see, he's got Lightbringer, he has the one guided by the Fool buff, and then his Cyclic Warrior overhead. So we're first going to start off with Spinning Slash. And because I have his LD boards, he will instantly use Soul Burst Plus. So this was the follow-up. Just like that. Now, if we look at the enemy's Brave over here, you can see it's in the negative value. So now I'm going to just cut to when it's his turn again so that I can showcase his S2 as well as his other stuff. Alright, so now here is Highbringer. So keep in mind, whenever you break an enemy or attack a broken enemy and he has Cyclic Warrior up, he will always proc his follow-up. So in fights where enemies are break resistant, like say Leviathan material, he's not going to do... Jack Garland's not going to do his follow-up there. You mainly want to stick him in fights where you can easily break enemies. Okay, and then another thing, I completely forgot to talk about this in the video, but he does have a C65, which is attack boost up. So this is what it looks like. So when you use this, it will raise his max brave, his attack, and his brave damage cap. So now I'm going to use Zantetsuken. There we go, and it was full damage too, just remember that. Okay, so now we have the last skill, which I'm going to show off, which is the EX. So here's Lightbringer. And there we go. So that is pretty much all the skills that I wanted to show off. And then in the next video, I'll show off what his Force does, his Burst Effect, and then the Shinryu for this. So that is going to be it for this video. Thank you guys very much for watching. Be sure to like and subscribe. Let me know if you will be pulling for Jack Garland, if you're just going to go up to his LD or up to his EX. And then I will see you in my next video.